We may often get the impression that conservative Christians are all young earth creationists. And I think many conservative Christians feel like, or are told, they should be young earth creationists. But this is not the case. Here I'll show a prominent conservative Christian, Pat Robertson, who accepts evolution, dismisses the young earth, and has some choice words for young earth creationism. This is an old clip, but it's a classic, taken from a reaction video by a non-Christian YouTuber at the channel Secular Talk. Let's roll it.
Pat Robertson is going to surprise us all here. He heard about the creationism versus evolution debate, and he wanted to weigh in. He said this.
Let's face it, there was a bishop in the Middle Ages there, 1800 something, who added up the dates listed in Genesis, and he came up with the world had been around for 6,000 years. There ain't no way that's possible.
Well, that's right. There ain't no way. It's okay to accept reality. It doesn't make you a bad Christian.
You know, anybody that's in the oil business knows that he's drilling down. He drilled down 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles underground. You're coming into all these layers that were laid down by the dinosaurs. And we have skeletons of dinosaurs that go back about 1.65 million years. And to say that it all came about in 6,000 years is just nonsense. And I think the time we come off of that stuff and say this isn't possible.
But Pat's not a scientist. You don't have to be a scientist to understand this stuff. Now, next he'll point out that a scientific understanding of origins is not opposed to Christianity. God is behind it all.
But I mean, so there was a Big Bang. So that doesn't mean it came spontaneously. Nobody knows what caused the Big Bang, but I say God did it. God's in charge of all this. God's in control, and he is the author of all life.
Amen. And then he points out that we can't just reject well-established science because it doesn't align with the interpretation of Genesis we've grown comfortable with. And if we do, there are consequences.
But we've got to be realistic that the dating of Bishop Ussher just doesn't comport with anything that is found in science. And you know, you can't just totally deny the geological formations that are out there, the rock formations and all the things that go all over the world, especially the bones. And we have found a Pterosaurus rex out there in Oregon or someplace, I mean, a full skeleton. And that baby was laid down about 65 million years ago. So, I mean, let's be real. Let's not make a joke of ourselves.
He's right. Young Earth creationism is a rejection of, a denial of, incredibly well-established science. And it can make a joke out of the church, and we need to be concerned about that. Next, he turns to evolution.
But I don't believe in so-called evolution as is currently presented as non-theistic. I believe that God started it all, and he's in charge of all of it. But the fact that you have progressive evolution under his control, that doesn't hurt my faith at all.
What can I say? I wish more pastors would have the courage to say stuff like this. Next, Pat finishes up his commentary.
But this thing, you know, we just can't be playing this Ussher, Bishop Ussher, God bless him, rest his soul in peace. He was just off.
Now the non-Christian YouTuber starts to comment. I'll play the beginning of his response.
Well, at least Pat Robertson is more rational than Ken Ham. Ken Ham, of course, is the guy who held down the creationism side of the creation versus evolution debate versus Bill Nye. He's the guy that owns the Creation Museum that actually has kids riding dinosaurs. Yes, they pretend like humans and dinosaurs existed at the same time, even though we know that's not true.
So this is an example of what Pat was talking about, how young earth creationism opens the church up to ridicule from unbelievers. This is not good for the spread of the gospel. The YouTuber then goes on an anti-Christian, anti-Bible rant for 1.5 minutes to end the video. I'll spare you that, including the profanity, but if you're interested, a link to the full video is below in the description.